continue in the chair. You can continue in the chair or you can stand. Some me in the chair. Today is going to focus on some back health and in particular, lower back. So having said that, let's start as always by sitting up tall. I'm on my wobbly spot again in my chair. There, that's a little better. So sit up tall, reaching up through the crown of the head. And then breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Noticing your posture. That inward curve of your neck. And then the rib cage spine, there's an outward curve. And the lower back, the vertebrae of the lower back, an inward curve once again. And then the pelvis has a little outward curve and then the tailbone tucks under. So all of that curvature is there so that the skeleton can be very efficient in supporting the weight that it has to hold. The vertebrae in the neck are small. There's 7. Vertebrae in the ribs, the thoracic spine, rib cage, they're a little bigger, but they're much less movable because they're fixed with the ribs, but they need to move. But then the low back, the lumbar spine, that's what we'll focus on today. They're big to take up the shock of our moving around through the day and keep the weight balanced in the torso. Many times we're seated for a long period of time. And in that case, all of our work is probably right here in front of us, and the tendency is to just start to round, and we lose that curvature, that inward curvature. We really lose the curvature, the proper curvature all up and down the spine. So I want your awareness to be in your low back, in your lumbar spine. And just check in. How does the low back feel? And the answer that you find is the right answer. I just want you to become aware of the sensations you brought with you today in the low back, in the lumbar spine. Take about 3 more breaths here. One more for me. And then before we focus in on some movements for the back, let's just wake up. So we're going to stretch and reach whatever movement your body would like to do right now. And don't overthink it. Sometimes if you just start to move, one stretch leads to the other. Breath is deep, in through the nose, out through the nose. And then reach up. Reach up and keep the shoulders down. See if you can drop the shoulders away from your ears. Sit tall. So you're trying to get taller here, lengthening the neck, and then look up towards the ceiling. And like you're under an apple tree, let's reach up there and pluck some apples, waking up the ribs, the side body. Nice stretch from the sit bones clear through the fingertips. Let's grab one more apple on each side. And then release your arms down to the sides. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Feel the movement of the shoulder blades. Wake the shoulders up. And then with the arms hanging, let's do a little shaking. So you're going to shake your arms. Remember, we call this shake the horse. So shake the horse. And then maybe lift one leg, shake with the arms. And lift the other leg, shake with the arms. And then maybe you get brave, lifting everything, shaking, shaking, shaking. And then come to stillness. Smile. It had to feel good and be fun, I hope. So I'm going to have you come to stand unless you prefer to sit in the chair. Any of these can be done in the chair rather easily. I want you to stand up and we're going to do, this is from traditional Chinese medicine. The element from traditional Chinese medicine that's really associated with in excess with low back pain is the water element. The water element tends to sink to the lowest point. So think about that, the low back. It's just kind of that sinking, perhaps aching sensation in the low back. Tiger is a Qigong movement that could help with that. So I want you to have a little bend in the knees and feel the feet kind of move around here. Even if you're in the chair, push the feet down, lift them up, get a good sense of where you're at. Now I want you to reach your arms up and stretch. Now I've straightened my legs a bit, but I still have a little bend in my knees. Now you're going to make a paw shape with your hands. So one knuckle at a time. As you're bringing your arms down, hinge at your hips and let the arms come down. So the hinge at the hips is important. You don't want to round the back. Inhale, come up. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see what I mean. I'm going to reach, bend the knees, hinge at the hips, make my tiger paw. And then arms come out and up. Do that again. Don't round the back. So even if you're just coming down a little, make your tiger paw, lots of acupressure points that we're stimulating here. And then feel free to start to come a little lower. So you're working into more of a squat. So sometimes hips are tight, and that can contribute to some discomfort in the low back and the lumbar spine. Exhale. There's always a color associated with an element. There's a color associated with one of the animal flows. So this is an animal flow. The tiger is white. And the sound, it sounds more like a snake. So you can make the sound. Let's do two more. Inhale up. Sending the hips back, bending the knees, arms come down. One more. And reaching the arms out and up. And bring hands home to heart. This one's called Dog Wags Its Tail. If you're in the chair, you could simply lift one hip and then the other. So you're getting a little lateral flexion. But if you're standing with me, just start to sway your hips side to side. And then let the rest of the spine come along. This is more of a lateral movement, more of a serpentine movement. We're not used to moving in this direction. So this can be a little unfamiliar and awkward. Just let it go. Don't think about it too much. You're just swaying side to side. Dog wags its tail. Let your arms just swing. Let that loosen up the hips. Maybe loosening up the low back. And then come back to stillness. Well, do some pelvic tilting. Again, if you're in the chair, you can do this same thing in the chair. So standing, make sure your posture is such that shoulders are over hips. Hips are really over ankles because we have a little bend in the knees. Now the pelvis, we call it the pelvic bowl. So as you're standing here in neutral, it's like a bowl. But if I told you you had a bowl of soup and I wanted you to pour that soup in front of you, you're going to tip your pelvis forward. Now notice the tailbone came up and it kind of looks like the tail on a duck. So you're going to lift the tail feathers and come back to neutral. If I told you to dump the soup behind you, it would be like you're doing a little crunch here. Now the tailbone points more down and you've engaged the glutes. So move through this See if you can isolate the movement to the pelvis and the low back. Remember those big vertebrae. This movement, pelvic tilting, is very helpful for pain in the low back, for avoiding pain in the low back. Moving each of those big vertebrae one by one, and every time they get a chance to move one by one, they're squeezing and releasing the discs in between the vertebrae, keeping them hydrated. Nice cushion. Let's do two more. Two more each way. You're tilting. It can help to take your hands to the top of your pelvis and just tip. Last one, tip. Now we're going to kind of put that all together. If you're in the chair, you're going to sense the sit bones, the pubic bone, and the tailbone and swirl. If you're standing with me, we're going to do some hip circles. Go slow. Drive the hips to the side, to the back, to the other side, and forward. And once you get the movement, you can let your arms hang. And it's kind of like dog wags the tail in that the hips are moving, and you just let the rest of the torso, the head and the neck, just go along for the ride. Now reverse the direction. Nice hip circles. Do about 3 more. And then come to stillness again. Really plant your feet, feel the feet connecting to the earth. And bring your hands in front of your lower belly, like this. One hand on one side, one on the other, kind of making a little triangle between your belly and each of your hands. Knees are bent. Now I want you to take the tailbone, act like it's a flashlight. We're going to point it down between the heels. Now you've flattened your low back. Reach up through the crown of the head, push the back of the head behind you. Now you've flattened your neck. In traditional Chinese practices, these meditative stances, we're encouraged to straighten the spine a bit so the energy has a freer pathway. Maybe you can visualize that energy. Those meridians, energy having a free river, an open river to move through. Take 3 more breaths here. Maybe noticing in my low back, I'm already starting to feel some warmth. Some energy. Maybe you are too. And then stand up and shake again. If you're in the chair, you can shake just like we did when I was sitting in the chair. And don't be afraid to be a little silly about it. Just really shake. Wake up the body. Wake up the fascia. And then come to stillness. I want you to take your thumbs. I'm going to come a little closer so you can see. You can take your hands right to the top of the pelvis, so hip bones up here, and then slide your thumbs back until they touch. And that's right over the lumbar spine. Now I want you to pull the thumbs away a little bit so you're on either side, and then let your fingers point down. My elbows are bent, so I'm pushing my thumbs into the flesh that's right next to the very lowest lumbar vertebrae. And you might feel some tender spots. Just push around. Now draw your elbows back towards each other. I'll turn sideways. Now let your belly come forward, that duck tail. So the tail comes up, chest comes forward, and the gaze goes up. So we're in spinal extension. And then use your thumbs to massage the spot there, right next to the lumbar vertebrae, left and right. And maybe you move the thumbs a little bit. And maybe again, move the thumbs. And then come back to neutral. Let the arms come down, maybe shake those thumbs out. Once again, I'm going to turn. I want you to make just a gentle fist with your hands, so it's a hollow fist, and tap into the low back. So right there with the kidneys, again, I said the water element is associated with low back pain. So we're tapping into the kidney region right there by the lumbar spine. Keep tapping, tap, tap, tap. I'll turn again. Now, instead of the thumbs on either side of the lumbar spine, the heel of the hand comes right to the top of the pelvis, right to the ridge. And the fingers kind of float down over the glutes. Elbows come back. We're going to do that duck tail again. So belly comes forward, tailbone goes up. Keep drawing the shoulders back, heart lifts, gaze lifts, and really press the heel of the hand into the very top of the pelvis. And it's an inward pressure and kind of a downward pressure, a little tractioning of the low back. And breathe. Of course, if any of these movements causes discomfort, don't do them. And then release your arms down to the side, shake them out. And pause and notice, maybe you're feeling some heat in the low back. Maybe you're feeling a sense of energy in the low back. Now, as far as the water element goes, let's do a water movement. Now, the movement of the arms will follow the lines of the meridians. So there's meridians, rivers of energy that come up the inside of the legs into the middle of the body and end about the collarbones. So I want you to hinge at the hips, bend the knees a bit, and bring the backs of the hands together. This one's called fountain. It looks like a fountain. You're going to pull the hands up to about collarbone height, and then circle the hands around like a fountain, and then hinge at the hips. Go back down. Now notice as you get the movement of the hands, it's just natural to round the back a bit here. And if you do yoga, this will be a cat back. And then as you come up and around, it's more of a back bend. So in yoga, we would call that cow. So from spinal flexion, back through neutral, spinal extension. So the color with the water element, as expected, is blue, but it's an indigo blue. Let's do 3 more. Inhale up, exhale down. 1 more, inhale up, exhale down. And then swinging the arms out and up. Hands come together and hands home to heart. Now, 1 more water flow, a water Qigong flow. If you're in the chair, you can just sit and do this. I want you to imagine, of course, the water's down here. Bring your arms out with the thumbs down. Bend the right elbow. Take the back of the hand to your lumbar spine, to your low back, right back there by the sacrum. We're going to take the back of the left hand to the forehead. I'm going to sweep that arm down, scooping up water. I'll lift the water across the body, looking into my hand, imagining that water trickling down through my fingers, sweeping the back of the hand across the forehead again, and then coming down. Visualize the water. Maybe feel, is the water warm or cool? And hear the sound of your hand passing through water. Breathe. We'll do 2 more on this side. One more on this side. And pause and switch. Now I'm going to take that right hand out. Gather water, lift it over on the left. Watch the water go through the fingers. Back of the hand passes across the forehead. So if you're standing with me, there's just a natural, almost a little side lunge, a little sway from side to side as you do this. And feel the weight shift, pouring into one leg, and then it's equal, and then it shifts and pours into the other. Let's do 2 more this side. Last one. And then release your arms to the sides. Pause. Tuck the tailbone points down, knees are bent. And reach through the crown of the head and push the head back. Bring awareness, especially to the low back, to the sacrum. And notice, has anything changed since we started? And then if the eyes are closed, open them, another good shake. And then if you're not already in your chair, return to the chair and find that upright seat. Remembering the curves of the spine. Over time, if you've developed a posture that isn't in alignment, it takes some time for the mind to remember what good posture, aligned posture feels like, and for the muscles to adjust. When we're in alignment, gravity can be energizing. When we're out of alignment, we're just fighting all the time. The muscles are trying to hold you up. The bones can't do their job. And it's like trying to swim upstream. So sit tall. And let the eyes close if that feels good. Or a soft downward gaze. And as we're settling in for a few moments of stillness, I have a little guided meditation, suggestions, things for you to ponder. As you're inhaling and exhaling, ask yourself the question, where am I? And it might sound like a silly question, right? I am here. How do you know you're here? We might be here physically, but the mind goes all over. So let me show you a few ways to keep the mind here. As you inhale and exhale through the nose, I want you to feel the physical body. Scan from the top of the head, shoulders, low back, hips, knees, ankles, feet. Just feel the body. Where am I? I am here. How do I know I'm here? Because I'm feeling my body. I'm aware of my body. Where am I? I am here. How do I know I'm here? I can hear things around me. Listen around you now. Don't linger on any sound because then the mind starts to create a story. Just listen. When you hear something, then move on. Where am I? I am here. How do I know I'm here? Well, I can feel my body. I can hear things around me. If your eyes are closed, I invite you to open them and begin to look around you. You can turn the head and the neck. Again, not lingering on any one thing because the mind will start to make a story around that. Noticing shapes and colors. Maybe you start to see something that you hadn't noticed before in this environment that you might spend a lot of time in. Look around. Become aware of what you can see. Where am I? I am here. How do I know I'm here? Because I can see. I can feel my body. I can hear the things around me. Pause for a few breaths. Take it all in. Whatever calls to you, notice it. Right here, right now. And start to wiggle your toes and wiggle your fingers. And then you can take it from there, kind of like we started. Just start to move. Don't think about it. One sensation will lead you to another. Breath gets a bit deeper. And before we close, that mindful practice can be a good way to bring you back here. Mindfulness, it's used, that term's used so much, but it's so beneficial to be right here in the moment. But sometimes it can be very difficult, especially if you're working and your mind is on this and that and this and that. Come back to the moment. Well, how do I do that? Well, feel, see, hear, taste, smell. Use your senses, even if it's just for a minute or two, and then go back to what you were doing. Let's reach up one more time together. Grab what you need. Sunshine here in Ohio. Exhale. Release anything that no longer serves you. Fill your heart with that warm, golden, healing light of the sun. May you have peaceful thoughts, peaceful words, a peaceful heart, and a peaceful world. Namaste. Thanks, everybody. Let me get my glasses so I can see. I appreciate your taking the time to join me today. Hi, Judith.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank
You're
you so
very
much.
welcome. Oh, good. Had back pain and feel so much better. Yes.
I really needed that today
Oh, good.
so much.
Oh, you are very welcome. That happens a lot, and that's always a blessing for me. I try to just stay open, and so often somebody will come to me and say, that's what I needed. And that just makes me feel really good. So thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Have a great
My
day.
chiropractor wasn't available, so I was almost in tears. I'm like, wait, there's Cindy today. Yoga,
Oh, yay, good.
Have a great rest of your day.
Uh-huh,
Thank you.
you too.
Thank
Thank you so much.
thank
Thank
I just
you.
noticed that today the link was different because I haven't had a chance to join for the last 2, 3 sessions.
Oh, yeah.
So this link will be the same going forward.
Yeah, this link has been this way for a bit. I started with a link and then I changed it. It's been a few weeks ago. I changed it so I didn't have to be here to let you in. So you just get right in
Got it.
because I was missing people. I was back there and I couldn't see. So I'm sorry, but yes, it will stay,
No,
this
it's
link.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was
Thank you.
wonderful, as
Uh-huh.
always.
Oh,
Thank you.
thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a great day.
You too.